defense.
Leafs win. God, we're saying that a lot lately.
Sure are,
Welcome back to Split the Defense, Leafs post-game presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding area since 2004. I'm Webby with CP and producer Ted in the booth. Thumbs up this episode, subscribe to our YouTube, leave us a comment, and catch us in podcast form if you can't catch the show live. Anywhere you listen to podcasts. All right, boys. Game 25. Final score, Leafs 3, Preds 2. Matthews with a couple. Nylander gets one. Boys couldn't get it together for, I don't know, 2 whole periods, probably.
40 minutes, yeah.
And and then 2 goals in 90 seconds from the captain. Lit fire for the rest of the third period. The team missed that game-breaking ability, did they not?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Mitch Marner was the bigger star of the night, but really, he got Matthews going, and you can just, I mean, his first multi-game goal since April. He was really pushing for the hat trick. Yeah. It's funny to think that that's a long time for Matthews, or for a player. But when it's Matthews, like, you know, he typically has one by now, and typically it's like the first game of the year. So, you're
not wrong. The bigger story could be Marner, though. You're not wrong. Both were assisted by Marner. Marner's on an 8-game point streak now. He's got 2+ points in 10 of his last 12 games. He's on like a 115-point pace right now. He was electric, and he assisted both of Matthews' goals. So do you want to rant about Marner, or do we go on about if Matthews and Marner should play together again?
I mean, we can do both, but I think that, like, he assisted basically on all 3 because he draws both penalties to get them the third goal as well. They're 5-on-3 at the time. That, you know, Nyes does the amazing no look between the legs pass to Willie, but they're not on that peak or power play if it's not for Marner. So I just thought that as soon as they put him with Matthews, it took them all of 90 seconds to get Matthews fully back, and they both continued it. So. There's no question. It's funny. Now I'm in the boat where, like, I don't think we ever see Matthews and Marner not play a significant chunk of every game with each other. Which is,
well, if you're Craig Berube he's had them together. This isn't the first time they've played together this season. But if you're Craig Berube and you put them together like that and you see that, you've got to wonder, like, should I continue? Or, I mean, like, it can't be an easy job making that decision because things have been going well, but, like, I don't know if it was me, I wouldn't overreact, but then again, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs and they're very overreactionary. So potentially they do just put Matthews and Marner back together. I would like to see the other lines go back together, although Willie and JT started clicking after Matthews and Marner started clicking. So it's like, well, geez, now they're getting high danger scoring chances too. So I don't know. Like, I didn't hate either group tonight. I thought everybody played well. And I just think that maybe you go back to the way it was before.
From the little time that I've been really following Berube, because, like, obviously you don't really care what he was doing in St. Louis. And I feel like he makes decisions, like, more on track with what the fans have wanted. In like comparing to Sheldon Keefe, which seemed to do always the opposite of what the majority of people were talking about. So I don't know. I feel like you said, that Matthews and Marner were playing together before Matthews got injured. You know, the only reason that they didn't go back to it was kind of like how everybody was talking about, like, why would you when Marner's playing so well and he's playing with Tavares? But you can kind of see, like, you know, you kind of catch lightning in a bottle when you put them together and things are working. And I'm not sure you ever get that type of play from Marner and Tavares. You know, like, you're never going to get back-to-back goals. Like, well, maybe not never, but it just seems like they obviously, Matthews, Marner, have something that's a little bit more than just, you know, random line mates. Obviously they've played a lot together, but there's more chemistry than that. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they probably will go back to Matthews Marner next game. So it'll be interesting to see though.
Yeah, you think they're gonna play Matthews and Marner again next game? You think they're? Yeah. I feel like that's overreactionary. I feel like that's they're seeing like it works, so just stick with it. I feel like that's very old hat. Like if you think that, I don't know if the fans are going to agree with that. Like things have been working. If you want to use it as a spark, I feel like that's a great weapon. Like it's not working and you need 2 goals in the third period. You put them together, they'll get 2 for you in 90 seconds. But over a length of a season and for trying to make matchups and the playoffs work, I think you do want to keep them apart. And I hope that they don't just make that rash decision to throw them back together for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's definitely a good point. And like as far as like line matching and everything, you have a way more I can't get the words right now, but it's more predictable what you're going to see from both lines if you have them spread out. But I'm not sure you get what like a high scoring game, but maybe like you said, and then that's when you throw them together and you get what you got tonight,
But who do you think you're going to get more? Who do you think will bring more out of John Tavares, I think is the big question here. And like if you're paying this guy $11 million this year and you're trying to chase the Stanley Cup and you have to make that $11 million count, he is still a very capable player. And I think if you asked, William Nylander's great, but I think Mitch Marner makes John Tavares better than William Nylander makes John Tavares better.
Yeah, it's true. I think you always have to make the decision like based on how both lines work. But yeah, and like we're kind of seeing Matthews. He was on a slow start and then has the long layoff, but he comes back and he's not necessarily jumping off the page like one of the best players in the league. So like I don't know, like if you go back to it, I would just like as long as you're getting the most out of Matthews too. Yeah, I do agree. Like you have to kind of take both lines into account.
But I mean, like, and I don't want to not play them together.
No,
I think in these moments you do, and like you do a like I said do you do a little bit of line flopping. Do you have them play apart a lot, but then when you need goals or in certain times, like they play together on the power play already, and in certain maybe offensive face-offs or times when you're down in the third period, you put them together and you still get that spark. But I just don't hate breaking them back up for the next game.
Yeah.
So we still had no Jake McCabe. That can't be a good sign, eh?
No, yeah, I was really kind of hoping you'd see him tonight, but I mean, no extra info on him, so I bet you tomorrow all the reporters will be kind of hounding them for some more answers about it. But yeah, I really hope to see him back. You do miss him, like. Philip Myers has been fine, but actually Timmins has kind of been the more of the disaster. But he's an identity player to this team too. It's not just his gameplay, but it's like the mentality he brings too.
Well, I think you just kind of summed it up right there. Is that Timmins did well in Myers' spot right now, and Myers is doing all right in that spot. And neither one of them can fill Jake McCabe's shoes. And right now, they're not asking Philip Myers to fill Jake McCabe's shoes. They're asking Connor Timmins to fill Jake McCabe's shoes in some of these positions. And that is why you're seeing Connor Timmins struggle so bad, in my opinion. He's not suited to play as much. Like, I should not see that much Connor Timmins. Although it's probably good for his development, and it's early in the season. Mid-season, it's kind of the boring part. We're in December now. But so you can play these guys, but you don't want to see him in your top 4. Bottom line, you don't want to see him logging top minutes on your team. So when Jake McCabe comes back, like Philip Myers isn't going to be in anymore. But I wanted to point out that Philip Myers shot a 97 mile an hour slap shot tonight. The hardest shot by any other Leaf on the team for the whole season was 92 miles an hour.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather have Philip Myers. I don't think there's any secret here. I've preached about him the whole time. Yes, he's not perfect, but I think just what he brings and as far as a third pairing is way more valuable, especially when, Timmins Timmins sometimes makes good offensive plays, but he's more often put into high defensive pressure situations, and that's where he lacks in skill. That's where Philip Myers is a little bit better. You might have the one, blow up breakout pass or weird offensive play from him, but I would rather have him in. It's never going to be perfect from that spot. You hope that you're just happy you're kind of getting what you need from Benoit at the moment. Also didn't have a perfect game, but it as soon as though you're pushing any of those three into your top four, it's not a great situation. So, but yeah, I just think I would rather see Timmins take a seat and just like rotate it in and out a little bit more. It would be fun.
Okay, so all this to say that it was brought up today on Kipper and Bourne that they seem to be overly cautious with injuries this year. That they're letting guys take an extra couple of games, an extra couple of days, and if you're at 95%, we don't want you. We want you back at 100. And I wonder if it's the overreactionary traits of the Toronto Maple Leafs that I just spoke about earlier, where they may keep these guys together from seeing one good thing. That what was the killer last year for this team above and beyond everything else?
They couldn't score in the playoffs.
Injuries. Everybody was hurt last year. Did you forget that? Willie was hurt. Matthews was hurt. Woll was hurt. Injuries. Yeah. So I think they completely overreacted and counterreacted and said, you know what? The only important thing is for us to be 100% healthy going into the playoffs. We aren't having any lingering issues. And I wonder, is there actual problem? Like, is Jake McCabe really in not good condition? Can he not move his neck? Or is it still sore to the touch? And they're like, no, we don't want you to go out there because we don't want somebody to hit it and it to hurt again. Like, we'll just leave it until it's not sore to the touch.
Yeah, I mean, two of those injuries in the playoffs happened either the game before the playoffs or during them. So I mean,
they were like a flu. Was the Matthews?
Yeah, and then like Willie takes a rough hit like the game before the playoffs, and then Woll actually injures himself in a game in the playoffs. So, I mean, I wouldn't account them all to being lingering. I'm not sure maybe the history on all those. Maybe they're things that pop back up.
No, I just think it's in their head. I think it's stuck in their head. Like, oh, what killed us last year? Injuries killed us last year. We can't have any injury. Anytime that anybody has an injury, we better make sure that they're good.
Yeah. I think that it's also like a something that's happening like in all of sports. Like even in like for the Toronto Raptors, like Grady Dick's been held out for 3 games now because he has a bruise on his leg. Like that's just kind of how it is. Though. Yeah, it's true. But I just think that like I'm not against holding a guy out to be 100% healthy if they're a really important player, especially like not to get too overexcited about the standings, but like when you're sitting in a decent spot. Like if this is like, if you're the Nashville Predators,
first place,
yeah, you probably want to play everybody. And even if you're at 90%, like get out there. We need wins. This team is horrible right now, but if you're the Leafs, you're in a good spot. So let guys get healthy. I'm kind of all in support of that. And especially when, not to fall asleep on the regular season, like I was saying, but it's all about the playoffs, man. Like, and you do want to be 100%. Not that like December hockey is really going to affect that, but yeah, like no. I would rather guys, take it quite easy and make sure that you're going to be there and ready. So, also, I think guys aren't chasing the points race like Luke Matthews. I think he probably would have been playing a lot of those games if you don't have the Four Nations coming up, or if he hasn't had so many accolades in his past. I think there's nothing to prove for him, so it is about like being healthy and making sure that you're the best that you can be.
Fully agree. I think that that has been the message between talk shows and fans and probably the organization, and it was probably put out there and manifested that that's just not on the agenda this year. We don't care about your 100 points. We don't care about your 60 goals. We want to win as a team and do it this way and just do it our way or the highway kind of deal. They do not care about that stuff. And with the injuries that he's had and the fallback that he's had, I really don't expect him to win the goal race. But God, I could still see Matthews potting 50 this year. Easy.
Yeah, it's not out of the question for sure.
Not out of the question at all. So Wool made 22 saves tonight in what is now a 6-game win streak for him.
Yep.
And the Preds scored the first one on probably the weirdest bounce ever. And their second goal was pretty fucking lucky too. He had a pretty good night. Woolie's been proving himself. Like, it's somebody put out today, it's never been a harder question to answer. The playoffs started tomorrow. Who's your goalie?
Yeah, Craig. I honestly think it's Wall right this second. And that's just how flip-floppy we're going to get about it. Because, yeah, I do feel way more, like, not way more comfortable, but he's kind of our guy. You know, we want him to be the goalie. If you were going to pick a guy to be the best of the two, like, that's who I want it to be. He's on a longer contract. He's younger. He's, you know, a homegrown prospect. So yeah, I just, like, if he's willing or not willing, but if he's able to be the best of himself, then I think that he is the guy that I would go with. The best part of it is I don't really care. You know, like, I feel pretty confident in either guy. I think either guy is more likely not to have a blow up game than have like a stellar performance. So, yeah, I just think, like, we're just sitting pretty here, and I'm sure there's a lot of teams that are kind of jealous at it, and you just want to, you know, hope that this can continue, because it's just like, this is one of those things where you don't, as a fan of a team that's just not had the best luck with goalies lately, you know, you don't want to get too overexcited. That's just my initial thought. You know, you don't want to, you know, get too excited. But yeah, I feel like it's just as good as you could ever ask for and expect. So yeah. Who would you go with if you had to pick?
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now?
they've both been great. I go with Stolarz because we'll play tonight. Don't want to go back to back.
That's an awesome answer, actually. That is so good.
All right. Yeah, so, I mean, Wool is still on a cheap contract. He's still on his low cap hit. 766 is what he makes. Stolarz is on a 2-year deal. And, like, I mean, you play whoever's good, I guess, is really my point. Like, he has signed a new contract, and he is the goalie of the future, but of the future, right? Like, you play whoever's doing the best, and it's a long season. I truly believe that things are going to level out, and somebody's going to show their true colors. And, you know, I think there's like a 90% chance that Wool's going to get hurt. So, like, we're going to have it decided for
90,
us. And we're going to have
that's rough.
like, yeah, buddy, I'm pretty confident that he's going to be injured again this season at some point. And I don't know whether he'll be ready for the playoffs or not. But, like, there's going to be something like that. And if he is, like, if we have two good goalies going into the playoffs, like, I don't have a problem with that. You play both, you know?
Yeah.
I'd play Stolarz if he's just as hot, but I truly think that somebody's going to shine and show that they are the one to take the net by playoff time, and it's a little early in December to answer that question.
For sure.
I think that's pretty much all I got for the game tonight. What else you got going on?
Oh, Fraser Minton just continuing to be the best version of himself, like way better than I expected from him. Gets pushed up the lineup onto the second line, and just totally deserves it. You know, I think he has 4 shots tonight, maybe 5. A stellar performance from him. And it's like all the small things. It's kind of like the Marner argument, why Matthews isn't my first star of the game. Just all the little things that they, small things. Yeah, I'm just so happy with him. And And it's very obvious to see like who Berube trusts because Gurbankin, Reeves, and Robertson didn't see the ice in the last 10 minutes, but Fraser Minton was put out there in he wasn't held back at all.
So you're going to be really upset when he's traded for that third line center that we've been begging for, eh?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going. I'm telling you, that's definitely not.
You're looking for a major trade chip, and you're an NHL team, and you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and go, what do you got for my player that's pretty good, a second or third line center type that we're looking for? We'll give you Nick Robertson. I don't know. That doesn't really do it for me.
Doesn't do it.
I want Fraser Minton. Like, because you're not getting Nyes. That's not happening.
No, that's crazy talk.
Are they pumping up Holmberg's value?
No, that's not good enough either for anything.
So,
I mean, the thing
it's
is,
Minton, man. It's Minton. He's got to just.
Not.
I like the best thing for us is for that guy to play like crap for the next few games and get sent back to the AHL so we can keep him. Because this is honestly, that guy's playing way too good, and it's going to come to playoff time, and they're going to have to make hard decisions. And like, I think NHL teams are going to be calling about that kid.
Oh, well, like it's kind of a call that's kind of a waste of a phone call, though. Like they're not trading him at this point. Draft picks aren't worth even close to as much. Like a first round draft pick is nothing compared to what Fraser Minton is right now, and it's because that there's still lottery picks. Easton Cowan and Fraser Minton are probably worth 2 or 3 first round draft picks, and I guess who's that third line centerman? Because he better be
Yanni
on a
Gourde.
cheap. No,
Retained.
he's not. No, Fraser Minton's worth more than that. Yanni Gourde plus what? That's what I'd be asking. You can have my first round draft pick for Yanni Gourde. That's and plus something. Not Easton Cowan, but my first and pick a few of my prospects maybe. But yeah, Fraser Minton's worth way too much at this point to I think trade.
Yeah.
Unless it's if it's Ryan O'Reilly at 50% retained for the rest of his career, then I'm thinking about it. I don't know who that player that would be worth it to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know who is the perfect third line center for this team. I don't even know who that guy is.
I honestly, it's the guy that's perfect in my head is we talked about a couple shows ago, but it's Jordan Stahl of 5 years ago. But that guy doesn't exist today.
Now?
Yeah.
No.
They don't even make
what
those
about
type of
Morgan
players.
Frost? Didn't he have major Selke numbers or something a few years ago?
I mean, yeah, that is not a big enough not a big enough
really
prize
sucks.
for me. Yeah.
Who is there? Columbus, they're shit. Still, they just traded David Jiricek. Maybe we'll get their captain. Boone Jenner.
Yeah. I mean, Boone Jenner though is out for the season.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Well, there you go. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, right off the first game. I forget what it is now.
Right off the first face-off.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I think it was
That's not
preseason
accurate
even maybe.
information.
I don't even know. not face off, but yeah. It might even have been preseason, but yeah, I know this because of fantasies because he got dropped real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah.
All right, what else you got in your docket?
Oh, I think that's probably it at this point now. Yeah.
All right, well, then tell me what
Matthew
you were gonna
Nyes
say.
though, that
Pull
no
this
look
thing up.
pass. How'd you like that, buddy? That was so nice.
Oh, Matthew Nyes, just disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, he needs a contract too, right?
Yeah. Apparently they've
far ahead of
opened up those
ourselves here,
discussions again.
Yeah, well, they better. And I don't know how much you want to believe reports, but I've heard that the team wants to go long term, and he doesn't want to go long term. So be a bridge of some sort. I'm guessing it's going to be a 3x6 or 2x6 or something like that.
Jeez, that
Because
is.
then because I think they're going to bet on. I think honestly maybe 5.5, but yeah, I think it's going to be up there, buddy. I don't think he's taking $4.5 million. I don't know. He's an RFA, right? He is an RFA.
Yeah, that's what makes me think you could maybe get it at 4. But
For 2
I don't know.
years,
This
maybe?
is Toronto. Yeah, for 2 years maybe, but
Not for 3.
yeah.
You want that third year, you're probably getting up to 5.5 at least.
I don't know. I'm just saying
You
it like
think
I don't know because
you don't think Matthew Nyes is the perfect candidate to be offer sheeted?
man, he is the perfect candidate to be offer sheeted. And especially like the cool thing to do now is the offer sheet. I'm sure we're gonna get like 5 or 6 of them next season. It's ramping up. So
Yeah, they'll be like offer sheet and fucking I don't even know.
yeah,
Can't even
no
make it
name
up.
that you don't know.
Bobby McMahon.
Yeah.
He's not a UFA. He's a UFA. So I'm just saying. Like,
Honestly, I don't know
yeah.
why people don't. Like, it's crazy when, like, even for a Bobby McMahon, I think there should be more offer sheets for the lower paid guys because, like, what you got to give up your 6th round pick or something to do it? Like, you know, to offer sheet Matthew Nyes, like, you have to give up like a 1st and maybe 2. I forget what the rules are.
It depends on how much money you're paying the person for years, right?
But like, if you're giving Matthew Nyes a $5 million contract, then that's, I don't know what the threshold is, but I think that's definitely going over a 1 first round. So yeah, it is. But again, if you were to draft Matthew Nyes, wouldn't you be happy with that if he was your 1st round draft pick? So like, it seems like it's worth it to me. Like, yeah, the offer sheet is going to ramp up. I'll put money on that.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. All right. Well, where do the Leafs play next? We're back on Saturday. Is that what happens?
No, I think we're Friday, aren't we?
Oh, really?
Wasn't it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. All right. Well, there goes me getting drunk on Fridays. All right. So we'll be back after the Capitals and Maple Leafs on Friday. Then back again on Saturday for the Penguins. And we will probably see Anthony Stolarz in net, right? Probably wouldn't expect Joseph Woll to go back to back.
No.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. If you're at this point, we really appreciate you listening. Really, really appreciate you being here. Thanks for joining us for Split the Defense Leafs post game presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding area since 2004. Leave us a comment, hit that like button, subscribe on YouTube, and listen to us in podcast form anywhere you listen to podcasts. Until next time, peace.
Peace. Peace.
Follow the boys on Twitter at STDPWebby, at Craig D. Pearce, and at Ted_is_show.